Hi, I'm Tony Van Veen, CEO of Disc Makers. I've been in the disc manufacturing business now for over 35 years, and I'm wondering, am I the only one who finds that all these variants the big artists are putting out for each album on physical media is starting to get a bit ridiculous? I mean, how many album versions do you really need to issue? Last year, Linkin Park's new album came out with 17 variants, including 11 LP versions, plus 3 CD versions and a CD box set and 2 cassettes. Taylor Swift famously used different variants of her album Tortured Poets Department to not just drive it to 859,000 first week unit sales, but to also keep it atop the Billboard charts for 17 weeks. Every time she felt she needed a sales boost to stay atop the charts, she'd release a different version or different format, including not just physical media, but even downloads. And she used this to stay ahead of other artists with new albums, like Dua Lipa, whose album launched at number 2 on Billboard, by the way, with 20 variants. And that's not even the craziest. Travis Scott's Utopia arrived with 31 variants, as did Fall Out Boy's latest album. And all this is a ploy to not just achieve chart position, but to squeeze as much revenue as possible from passionate fans as those fans start buying up multiple different copies of the same album. Frankly, I don't actually think it's particularly cool to do that, to squeeze an extra 35 or 40 bucks out of a fan for a copy of the red vinyl version in addition to the blue vinyl, which they already bought. You may have heard that Billie Eilish famously pushed back against Taylor's many versions for environmental reasons, and she said that she would only release 8 physical variants of her Hit Me Hard and Soft album. And yet, by the time all was said and done, she had released 14 variants. So, what do these artists do to create all these variants? Here's a few ways. Number 1, they create multiple versions of album artwork and print records with different jackets. Some artists will simply blow up the artwork 4 times as large and put 1/4 of the art on each jacket variant. Voila, 4 variants. Other artists do true special edition covers. Number 2, multiple vinyl colors. Been done for years and works like a charm. Add a sticker that says red vinyl or green vinyl, or more deceptively, some artists mix them in unmarked jackets and hope fans will buy multiple copies, but not guarantee that the extra copies will have a different color. Number 3, add a bonus song or 2 to the special edition versions. And number 4, put out multiple formats. A CD and vinyl version of the album is already 2 variants. Now create a box set with a CD, with an extra disc with some demo recordings or live tracks, and voila, you have another variant. There's other ways to create album variants, but the ones I just mentioned are the most common. Now, Luminate, formerly Nielsen SoundScan, found that in early 2019, each of the top 10 albums on the Billboard 200 chart arrived with 3.3 variants, which included, at the very least, a CD and LP in most cases. By the end of 2023, that had ballooned to 8.9 versions for each of the top 10 albums. Kind of ridiculous, no? Sure, extra money for the artist, and I guess it's worth it for some fans who keep buying up the variants. But man, it sure feels wasteful. So what are you as an emerging artist to do? Well, for starters, putting out many versions of an album only works if you have a large established fan base passionate enough to buy up multiple copies of anything you release. Good for the Rolling Stones? Not so much for you as an emerging artist with a much more limited fan base. So what should you do? I mean, I'm happy to sell you multiple versions of your CD or your vinyl, but my recommendation instead is to just make your next album as awesome as possible so that fans really crave it. Make sure your album art kicks butt, that it's professionally designed and looks amazing. Choose a high-gloss UV finish for your jackets or a silky matte finish to make it feel more special. And make your vinyl itself special. Do a color or even a multicolor splatter or marble effect, and consider doing a heavy 180-gram version. Doing those things will make your record more of a collector's item, even if you do just one version. And if you issue your album as a limited release 180-gram pink vinyl version, you could always press a regular 140-gram black version later after your initial pressing has sold out. The only variant I highly recommend for your next album is to press a vinyl LP and do a CD version. Some fans just prefer CDs because of the size or the sound, or maybe because of their more economical price tag. And you don't want to miss out on those sales. Got any thoughts on this topic? Drop me a comment below. I'll see you next time.